What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Opendoor. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down what's really moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Opendoor is up 6.28%, 222 the low, 267 the high, and a fair amount of volume. So 200 million shares being traded, 299 is the average. Market does close in roughly 10 minutes, just so you guys have a little bit of a benchmark. But what is causing the market to go through this level of kind of expansion is optimism associated to rate cuts, and that's because of CPI. So month over month came in flat at 0.2, but year over year came in at 2.7. Consensus was 2.8. And all of this data was from July, and that's something that Powell really mentioned, that Trump's tariffs were going to cause inflation to go higher. So this kind of pops that mentality, and Powell, for the most part, now is kind of stuck and forced to do most likely multiple rate cuts. So right now the market is pricing in a 25 basis point cut for the September 17th meeting, and for the October 29th there is right now a 60.5% likelihood of a following 25 basis point cut. In my opinion, between the two, I think the market truly does want 75, but maybe data coming out this week and over the next couple of weeks will further validate that. But nonetheless, rate cuts, very good for the broader market. A lot of good growth stocks will be able to benefit, including Opendoor. So at the end of the day, that's one thing that is really pushing the broader market higher. No news from Opendoor today, no SEC filings or anything like that. So it is just kind of reacting to the broader market, except in Opendoor's case, you have a splash of kind of a squeeze play a little bit. And so ultimately at the time of doing this video, shorts are returning 3.57 million shares. So even though there wasn't any news, I kind of just wanted to do a video just to give you an update on this, only because a lot of people really want Opendoor to have a mother of all short squeeze or whatever else. So at the time of doing this video, like I said, shorts are kind of returning. One thing I do want to bring to your attention though is cost to borrow minimum is flat. So it's not negative or anything, it's actually straight up zero. And what that does mean is that there's actual brokers out there not charging anything for someone to short Opendoor. Normally, there's multiple different things you have to pay to kind of borrow, as well as kind of margin as well. But in this case, brokers are not charging someone to borrow the stock. So definitely some signs of manipulation is happening behind the scenes, but 23.49% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 153 million shares overall being shorted. So for those of you that still want Opendoor to be a squeeze play, there's a lot of shares being shorted. And that's not even counting any if you believe naked shorting is occurring with this stock. Aside from all that, looking at the options, 21 million in calls, 3.43 million in puts, and then 47% of all the options being done today are optimistic in nature. So definitely a lot of big money is anticipating more upside to come right around the corner. From the bulls standpoint, you see consensus for it to be roughly around that $3 range to $3.50 over the next little bit. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub pretty much between $2 and $2.50. So there's a lot more upside anticipated in my opinion. These are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So a couple big ones, some pockets of selling, some pockets of buying. So a little bit even there. But dark pool, very popular. So dark pool is often enough used by shorts and other hedge funds. So this is why you have a enormous amount of transactions. Plus, I think overall, a lot of volume in the broader market today is coming from algorithmic trading just because of the level of optimism. But right now with it at 244, it is exactly on this pivot point. And I know a lot of people don't really like technicals when it comes down to momentum and squeeze plays, but I am looking at a very strong resistance point. So 245 is going to be that kind of key point that you ideally want to watch for it to close above in the next couple trading days. And if so, then you could see a retest potentially of that 414. Aside from that, there hasn't been any new analyst ratings or anything that I haven't really covered in a previous video. No articles really coming out associated to Opendoor that's kind of worthwhile to bring up. That's like new information. And on the actual chart itself, even though it did consolidate quite a lot, things are starting to show that it wants to move higher. So right now it is above the ALMA stochastic RSI because of all the consolidation that has occurred. It is very oversold. So of course, if you have this level of optimism in the broader market, or even if Opendoor does put out some piece of news for whatever reason, or even on the broader scope, let's say PPI on Thursday, then you could see a rush of buying getting in. And so let me know your thoughts on Opendoor. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What's your general thoughts on Opendoor? And do you believe that Opendoor can be a true squeeze play? So let me know your viewpoint. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point and bangers. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.